What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? This is your boy is Nefarious, and I am here for another episode following the career of GM Neff. We are in the 2029 2030 season. But before we dive into that, if you're enjoying the content, please hit that like button below, comment, let me know what you want to see from the YouTube channel, and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, as well as check the link in the description. We do have the Discord there if you want to join and chat there. We talk everything sports, in video games in general. But we are here in the 2029-2030 season. We are coming off a disappointing playoff run where we got eliminated in the first round by the Toronto Maple Leafs because of injuries to key guys named Charlie McAvoy and Murat Kusnedinov. So this season we're going to see if we can make it once again and see if we can make a playoff run. Now, we do have some concerns this season. One of the major concerns is the centerman position has definitely taken a hit. I mean, we still have Dean Letourneau, Matthew Patras, but in the system, as you can see here, we have Elias Lindholm, who is a 83 overall now, regressed heavily. So we gotta worry about him. Is he gonna be a line one center that we need, or are we gonna have to move on from him? And we'll give him some time because I want to stay true to the type of, you know, things I've been building in this series with player efficiency and trying to use that to rate players instead of their overall. So he played really well and finished the season really well last year. I think he was top 5 in our player efficiency ratings. So we're gonna give him a little time, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, maybe a really short leash. But we're going to give him a little bit of time at that line 1. I know the last video we wrapped it up and we had him at line 3, line 4, but we're going to go ahead and leave him at line 1. But we got a lot of decisions to make. But this is the preseason roster. So in the preseason, we're going to have some of the youngsters play. And as you know, we do like to include real rules. So you have to have 8 NHL eligible players. What that means is you have to have 8 players that last year played at least 30 games in the NHL, or they played 100 games altogether in the NHL, and that's how they qualify. So taking a look, Matthew Patras definitely qualifies, and this is a big thing to take a look at. Wants extension? No. So he could definitely be a trade piece. Dean Letourneau qualifies. Fraser Mitten, so you got 3 there. Rogowski doesn't. Brett Harrison does. So you got 4. Staying in the NHL, neither of these left wings qualify. Actually, Leroux might qualify. I would assume he's played some NHL games. Yeah, he played enough, so he qualifies. So we're up to 5. Walensky qualifies. That's 6, and then we got 7 from Zetterlund. Actually, we can move down Zetterlund if I'm being quite honest. So Zetterlund's probably gonna get moved down. Yermison does not qualify. Robertson does not qualify. Messer, I don't think qualifies. No, he does not. So out of the forwards, you got Walensky. We're not going to have Zetterlund up there, or we might end up having him if we don't qualify. Walensky, Leroux, and then you have 4 centers, so you got 6 total. So you just need 2 defensemen, and we got that with Volchinski and Sasha Boumadini. So let's go ahead and go to the roster moves. I do want to make one change, and I want to get one more youngster up instead of having Fabian Zetterlund up on that NHL roster for the preseason. I don't know why I do this, honestly, because I think it edits it every single time, and then you end up with random people up in the NHL. But we do it anyway, just for the laughs. We're gonna put up maybe Thomas. How old is Thomas? Patrick Thomas is 25, so we'll go against instead of Thomas. So that will be our NHL roster, and we're gonna do auto lines for this NHL roster. They got Leroux, Yermison, and Walensky. They got Patras, Rogowski, and Harrison, Mitten, Letourneau, and Robertson. We're gonna change this because we do have the situation where they automatically put certain people in certain places because we had the talk with our coach. And we do all the lines ourselves now anyway. We want Mazar in there. He plays right wing or center. So let's move Gentz. Put Mazar and switch him with Robertson. We need a center though, so Brett Harrison will have to take center. And we could do no, then that still leaves the right-hander on the left wing. It doesn't matter after that. Defensively, you got Boumediene, Renzel, Kesserling, Volchinski, Warner, and Bobrovsky. And in net, I think we got Swayman because we don't have a young goalie to develop, so it really don't matter who we have in net. So let's get through the preseason. We don't want to see the owner goals because it changes with the roster. Our coach wants to have a conversation. All right, let's set our season goal. Absolutely agree. We should definitely compete for the cup. And then in the preseason, let's focus on... I always love our awareness, so let's go with video sessions. So with that done, slow sim through this preseason. We definitely don't want to take that trade. We got to put, speaking of, when we do stop, we got to go ahead to our trade block. Now that we know we have to move either player in Elias Lindholm. Oh, actually, I didn't even talk about that. AI owner goals at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Make the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, I gave AI all the information. Years left, cap hit, overall, you know, name, position, all that good stuff. Also, you know, the information that we got bounced from the first round of the playoffs. So these are the AI owner goals after giving all that information. Make the Eastern Conference Final. Trade Elias or Hampus Lindholm's contract. Re-sign cornerstone right D Charlie McAvoy. And acquire a top 4 mobile defenseman or a top 6 winger. So that is the 4 owner goals, AI owner goals that we got going into this season. So we're gonna go ahead and change who's on the trading block because we're gonna throw Hampus Lindholm out there, and then we're also gonna throw Elias Lindholm out there. Those are gonna be the 2 on the trade block. Elias Lindholm, we probably have no chance. Clause option. Let's see if we could get him to... let's give us 3 teams. Waive completely. Let's see if he'll give us 3 teams, and he doesn't want to. So I think we're stuck with Elias Lindholm, and we lost some management morale. Why didn't it save Hampus Lindholm though? That it should save. So Hampus Lindholm on the trading block now. Tiny Sakic. We're not getting rid of Tiny Sakic. What's wrong with you? So we'll go through this preseason and review some of the stats, and then I'll pick it up on the other side. So the preseason is over. Let's take a look at some of the stars of the preseason. You had Walensky with 12 points, 8 goals and 4 assists. Dean Letourneau with 12 points as well. Renzel had 5 out of the defensive zone. Rogowski had 4. He's one of our top prospects, as you can see in the top right-hand corner. You got Wirtanen, you got Yermerson, Skilly, Mazar, and Rogowski. And my top 5, I kind of go by the trade value. Whoever's the highest trade value without playing X amount of games in the NHL. You got Leroux, who we just added. He got 3 points in the preseason. Bobrovsky with 2, Harrison with 2, Mitten with 2, Patras with 2, and a -4. Skilly with 2 and a +9 from Skilly. So a good preseason from him. So just some of the stats from the preseason. Nice to know that Walensky and Letourneau are playing well together. That might actually make us put them together on a line. But it's now to decide what our NHL roster is going to be. And this is going to be a difficult decision because we got a lot of center/right wingers. Dean Letourneau, Elias Lindholm, Matthew Patras. You also got David Pastrnak already on the right wing. You got Walensky, he could play at least left wing. You got Fabian Zetterlund, another right winger. So we got to decide who we're gonna have in this NHL team. Is Yermison gonna have enough space to start in the NHL? That's gonna be one of our decisions. Do we keep him in the AHL so he can get more minutes? Because in the NHL he might be a third or fourth line guy. So we got a lot of decisions to make. So let's jump into making those decisions and pick it up on the other side. All right, so with the roster finalized, this is what we're going to run. In the NHL, you're going to have Kuznetsov, Lindholm, and Pasta. That line is going to stick together. You're going to have Patras, Zaka, and Ehlers. Then in the third line, you're going to have Leroux, Letourneau, and Walensky. Fourth line is going to be Yermison, Minton, and Zetterlund. So that is the lines you're going to have. Your scratched players are going to be Harrison and Edstrom, and then Warner on the defensive lines is going to be scratched, and our defense goes as such. And I'm actually really in love with this defensive core that we have. Boumadini and McAvoy. You have Rinzel and Lindholm. Then you have Vilchinski and Kesserling, who turned out to be a 85 overall, and we cannot be mad at that. And then obviously in net, you're gonna have Jeremy Swayman and Riddick behind him. Taking a look at the power play just to show you what that's looking like. Patras, Pastrnak, McAvoy, Rinzel, and Kuznetsov. Power play 2 is gonna have Zaka, Walensky, Ehlers, Boumadine, and Lindholm. So I just wanted to show you the power play as well. So that is what we're rocking with. Is Elias Lindholm going to uphold that, first line center position? Let's find out. We'll jump into the sim, and obviously it's probably going to be a short leash for Elias Lindholm. And this is what the AHL is going to look like. Merkulov, Rogalski, and Poulin. You got Robertson, Thomas, and Denisenko. Kilpinen, Thomas, and Jekko. You're going to have Messer, Gentz, and Skilly. Skilly, the top 6 left winger, we might want to have him get a little bit more time, so put him on that third line at least. And then defensively, you got Brunet and Bobrovsky, Kaiser, and Wallenius. Then you have Dingle and Sedin. I don't know why they have Kaiser over Brzgalov. That makes 0 sense. I understand Sedin at least. And then Dingle and Wallenius over Kangas, I could at least understand that. So these are the lines that we're dealing with when it comes to the AHL and the NHL. And the AHL actually has coach Drew Doughty, so that's a little fun there, having Drew Doughty as the head coach in the AHL. We'll see if they're able to maintain the success after the old head coach has gone either to free agency or to another team. He actually did not want to re-sign. We tried to bring him back, but not a big fan of coming back to the Providence Bruins. We don't have to worry about that. We already did all our roster moves, and we are ready for the regular season. And they should update the owner goals. If not, we'll have to take a look ourselves. Usually they tell you, hey, we updated the owner goals. So let's take a look at the owner goals real quick. So our owner goals for this season: primary goal, they want us to make the Stanley Cup final, which is fair. Secondary goal, I want us to win our regular season home opener. So we just got to win the first home opener. I want us to beat our rival Montreal Canadiens in our first regular season meeting. And then we need to upgrade the club seats by 1 level. So those are our 4 owner goals. We'll see if we're able to complete those as well. But we're finally ready to jump into the sim. As you know, we like to jump into the sim and pick it up if we have an injury, or pick it up at the end of the first month. So let's jump into the sim and see what happens. So immediately we lost our first game, our home opener. So that automatically eliminates one of our goals right there. Failed to win our regular season home opener against the New York Islanders, of all people, of all teams, I should say. 5-0 was the final score. So that's a tough loss, but we start off our season with a bust instead of a boom. All right, so 1 month down, and we are sitting here at 5-4 in 9 games, where we got the 14th scoring offense, 21st in goals against, 7th in power play, 22nd in penalty kill. And as you know, we like to also take a look at our efficiency ratings throughout the first month. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and see who's performing the best so far. All right, so taking a look at the efficiency ratings so far, and Pavel Zacha is by far our best player. He's got 61.39 player efficiency rating, 82.27 offense, and a defense of 40.15, followed by Renzel with the 55.97, Fraser Mitten with the 55.76. You got Edstrom with the 49.98. And then you got Kustadinov, always seems to find himself in the top 5 with a 44.74. As you can see, David Pastrnak not having a great year so far. Always going to be pretty solid offensively. Defense ain't great, and the overall efficiency rating ain't great. Same thing with Nikolai Ehlers. And then the big story of Elias Lindholm, a 43.1. Number 6 overall on the team, 51.99 offense, and then a 34.21 defense. Warner really good with a 60 defense, 24 offense for a 42. You're looking at some of the bad. Vilchinski really bad offensively, so really hindering his overall, and even his defense isn't as high as it usually is. LaRoe, who's the newcomer, as you can see here, with a 14.52 as well, 23 on offense, 5 on defense. Bumadini, 24 on the overall, 6 on offense, 42 on defense. Not really getting into it offensively. Patras, who's a major trade, candidate because of him not wanting to re-sign with us, 26.68. Play efficiency rating, 38 on offense, 15 on defense. Elton Yermerson at 28 as well, 38 on offense, 18 on defense. And then you got Laterno, Walensky, and you got a few others. But that's the player efficiency ratings right now. Kind of tells you the overall play of these guys. Kesseling, the newcomer, 40.32 with a 23 offense and 57 defense. You'd like to see that. Where is Charlie McAvoy? Right here with a 30.94, 34.55, and a 27.32. So that is the player efficiency rating. Now let's take a look at the regular stats. So a real quick breakdown of the stats. Zacha's got 8 points in 9 games. So Pastrnak with 7 and 9. Elias Lindholm with 6 and 9. McAvoy with 6 and 9 as well. Hampus Lindholm with 5. Renzel with 5. Ehlers with 4. Patras with 4. And Walensky with 3. So those are some of the stats going into month 2. Riddick's in net. He's got an 8.51 as a backup. So I think the backup situation might also be a major need at this point if he continues to play like that. Taking a look at the goalies, Swayman's 5 and 3 with a 9.23 and a 2.11, and then he's got an 8.51 and a 4 goals against average, but that's only in 1 game, so we got to give him a little bit of a break, get a more of a sample size before we can him. But we're ready to jump into month 2 sim. Let's see how this team turns out. Like I said, Elias Lindholm probably has a short string on that 1C position, and then we also got to keep looking to see what we're going to do with Hampus Lindholm and Matthew Patras, who both could be traded sooner rather than later. All right, so another month down. After 2 months, we're sitting here at 9, 10, and 2. We're 24th in goals for, 20th in goals against, 21st in power play. We're 21%, which is first in power play. We're 31st in penalty kill. Taking a look at the standings right now after 2 months, we are dead last in our division, right next to the Senators, which is interesting because we'll get to that in a second. But not so good right now with this team. Definitely want to see better. Pastrnak leading the team with 18 points in 21 games. Lindholm behind him with 10 points in 21 games. Kustadinov with 10 points in 16. McAvoy with 10 points in 21. Ehlers with 9 in 21. So after Pastrnak, not a lot of points going around. Taking a look at the player efficiency ratings when it comes to this, your top 5 is going to be Morat Kusnedinov with a 47.93, followed by Elton Yermison with a 43.32. Pasternak has a 42.23. Warner with a 42. Mitten with a 41.76 in that top five. Taking a look at the top offensive guys right now. You're looking at Pasternak, Zacha, Mitten, Letourneau, and Yermison. So maybe Letourneau to that first line is a question mark, is, you know, something we could do. Letourneau also has a 20.9 defensively, which gives him a 37.91, but he's got really good offense right now. Maybe him to the first line. Elton Yermison is also an option at the first line with Morat Kusnedinov and David Pasternak. Maybe even Zacha moves up to that first line, but we do need second line scoring. Fraser Mitten's been pretty good offensively as well, so that's a few things to pay attention to. Our best defensive player so far is Max Warner with a 60, but that's in limited games, so we're gonna kind of hold that with a grain of salt. Kesselring with a 49.8, it seems to be the best, followed by Kusnedinov and Vilchinski, finally, you know, on a positive trajectory. Looks like Lindholm might have actually, you know, faltered off a little bit. Looking at the first month that he played, Elias Lindholm had a 43.1 with a 51.99 offense, and now this month 35.14 and a 38.26 offense. So the offense falling off. Enstrom always doing his best when he comes in, 47.32 offensively. Taking a look at some of the worst guys. Leroux, a 7.27, that's terrible. Wolitsky with an 18.37, but really good offense. The defense is really bad right now. Boumediene as well with a 19, he's under 20, 10 offense, 28 defense. Vilchinski just over 20 with a 2 and a 40, and then Ehlers 35 and 16. So we got a lot of question marks with this team, and the reason I said remember the Ottawa Senators is because I wanted to show you this. The Ottawa Senators are trying to move Dylan Cousins, 91 overall, elite, 6'3", 28 years old. He's got looks like bounce back and ice pack. Yep, bounce back and ice pack. I don't know if that's true. That's not fully scouted. But what is fully scouted is the fact that he's a 91 overall. He's two-way forward. His Deacon's good. The face-offs we don't know about, and he seems to be a really good player to have on the team. 96 speed as well, 7.1 million in a cap pay. He has 1 year remaining. The only thing is, with the open block, we can't even find a trade for him. No trades found with an open block. I wonder what it would take to actually go ahead and trade for you know, Dylan Cousins. So let's go back out, let's propose a trade, and let's see what it would take for the interest bar to kind of match up with Dylan Cousins based on what we have. Now, the one thing we're willing to give up for sure is Matthew Patras, who is obviously a talent that does not want to re-sign with us. So if we put Matthew Patras in, as you can see, it's not there yet. So let's do Matthew Patras. We're okay with giving up a first. Matthew Patras in a first. It gets a little bit closer, but I could see we're not there yet. What about another, potentially like a prospect, maybe Wertinen? Wertinen would be interesting. Skilly, we could do Skilly. As you can see, it looks like this, something like this would be close to accepted. So it would take Patras, Skilly, and a first. What about if we took out Patras? Even though we want to include Patras, this is just for the trade itself. We put Wertinen in. As you can see, the trade is still not there. And if we really wanted to go in, we would put Patras back in. We'll do the first Skilly, and then we'd probably do a second round pick. I think that would get it done. Now, this is a trade we could make in the future, but we do the fine trade. I might break this rule for, you know, a move like this, because I think it'll be huge for the Bruins and what we have to get somebody like Dylan Cousins and add them to this lineup. But before we do that, let's go ahead and make some lineup changes, and let's see if we could get something cooking by moving some pieces around before we make a big splash like this by getting Dylan Cousins. So with the team struggling, we're going to make some changes here to the lineup. We're going to put Nikolai Ehlers back on the first line with Dean Letourneau and David Pastrnak. Letourneau moves up from the third line to the first line. 23 years old, one of our previous top prospects. Played really well offensively right now. Let's see if he could benefit from playing with somebody like Pastrnak. As you can see, he's got good passing and puck control. Nikolai Ehlers moving back up with Pasta. Second line, you're going to have Patras, Zaka, and Kuznetsov. Third line, Mitten, Lindholm, and Walensky. And then in the fourth line, you're going to have Zetterlund, Harrison, and Yermison. So going to the bench is Leroux with Enstrom and Warner. And then taking a look at the defense, you're going to have Bumadini and McAvoy, Renzel and Lindholm, and Vilchinski and Kesserling to round it out. I might even think about putting Vilchinski above Lindholm, but I think Lindholm is fine where he is. Or we could potentially move Vilchinski up with McAvoy, because Bumadini's right now isn't playing so high. I forgot exactly what his efficiency rating is, but it's not great right now. So that is the lineups for the next month. When we jump into our next episode, we also got Jeremy Swayman with Riddick, but Riddick is a question mark as well moving forward. 5 games at 884 and a 319. So we'll see if he's able to hold up as the backup going into this next month. A huge month, could be a turning month with us at the bottom of the division with 21 games played, 20 points so far. Definitely want to see improvements there. But that's going to do it for this one. If you're enjoying the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm your boy, It's Nefarious, and I am out of here.